Yo, what's going on, friends and family? My name is Skylent, and today we're going to be talking about Destiny 2. This is a pre-impressions where I look at the trailers and all the information that we have so far. Well, a lot of it, I guess. I'm not going to go too deep into it. You know, it's a pre-impressions. Who takes this so seriously? But if you want to know my thoughts and feelings on Destiny 2, well, this is the place to be. And I want to know your thoughts and feelings too. Leave it in the comments below. Give it a like. Let's share the video. Let's talk about this, okay? So, Destiny 2. My experience with the original Destiny, not that much, okay? I kind of trudged through, or actually, no, the opposite. I kind of blew through Destiny, but I haven't completed it. As in, every time I beat a level with, not much difficulty, and it just felt like a lot of light content. I didn't feel very, enthused to continue on playing. I just beat a level and I'd just be like, okay, well, I guess that's that, and I'll do another one tomorrow. It just felt like work. So it just didn't really feel like much content was actually being consumed. I was killing a lot of enemies, I guess, very easily, and I was going through levels, but I wasn't really feeling what the true potential of Destiny really is, I think. And I know that because as time goes on, it seems to be getting better and better. The game seems to require a little bit more cooperation. The game seems to be increasing in difficulty, and the game overall is adding in more mechanics. Of course, that makes sense. And it's starting to come to life maybe near the end of the game, I think. And from what I've read on reviews and everything about the DLC, basically, a lot of the faults of the original Destiny kind of becomes patched with the DLC. The story is way more cohesive. It's actually really enhanced. It's pretty good. It becomes a little bit more whole there. And that really makes a difference when it comes to gameplay. Normally, these pre-impressions, guys, yeah, we do talk about gameplay. We normally talk about Kickstarter games or MMOs, and we talk about, how is the game going to perform? What are the mechanics actually going to be like? What are the troubles with these weird mechanics? But the thing is with all the faults of Destiny that it might have, a lot of cliches with some other online action RPGs, generally grindy games, which, Destiny's pretty freaking grindy. It has some faults mechanically, but generally it's gunplay, its physical feel, the game feeling, the feel of playing the game, guys, is actually amazing. And this is coming from somebody who loves PC shooters, even though I did play Halo competitively. So maybe from both sides, I can see that Destiny is actually a really good raw product, okay? So even with all of its faults, especially when it first came out, it got some pretty bad reviews, but at the same time, people who just saw the actual game and its potential, no, man, they talked highly of it, and those people played the game. Even people who are like, yeah, Destiny, its intro, its first impressions, if it sucks donkey doo-doo, yeah, they still play it. They still play it because the raw gameplay is actually really good. So, Destiny 2, is it going to be a bad game? It's probably not at the minimum going to be a bad game, but from looking at the trailers that you guys are watching now, from watching a gameplay, actually, Terra Mantis has a 25-minute exclusive Gunslinger Hunter gameplay, which is pretty hype, actually. I'm watching that right now while I'm talking to you guys. This stuff is looking pretty good, and it seems that Bungie is addressing directly the issues with Destiny originally. They know that their whole product was okay, and they know they have something really special at the same time. So what they're doing now is they're patching what was bad. They're not just focusing on what the hardcore players want. They want this game to be popular as hell, okay? So it looks like the story is gonna probably be, I really hope it is. I think that the story is gonna be delivered in a much better way. I don't know how they're gonna do it, just hopefully better. And basically, the way they delivered the story in Destiny 1 was bad. It wasn't poetic and ambiguous like Dark Souls. It was just straight up not delivered well. It was, conclusively not good. Maybe with the DLCs, it's kind of solved, but still, for the base game, it's bad. Simply put, it's bad. So the story definitely interacts with the game here. Being an online action RPG with FPS mechanics, it definitely matters, okay? These creatures, these designs, the explanation of those designs. But in Destiny 1, I still don't know what the fuck's going on. I just know that there's a bunch of different, there's like some zombie-ish creatures, there's some, some alien-ish creatures, and then there's some different kind of aliens, and I just don't understand anything. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. I don't get it. I don't get it at all, and my gameplay would be greatly enhanced if I knew the story in the background. Like, really, in RPGs, guys, regardless, action RPGs, even games like Halo, dude, the story enhanced it greatly. Okay, so that's why I really want to talk about it. And it is gonna affect the whole product overall. Your review, your experience, especially first impressions, the story matters. So I don't think we need to talk about gameplay too much, but I just want to say that, yeah, the story, I think that's what they're going to focus on. With the trailers that I've seen, even the gameplay trailers focused heavily on very specific characters. It's focusing on kind of revealing the story a little bit better, broadening it a little bit better. I think that this is going to be the game that everyone plays. I think that most people, you know, Destiny was pretty popular, but I think most people now are going to jump on a Destiny 2 and probably not even play Destiny 1. I don't think there's really a reason, an incentive. It's awkward. I'm really having trouble completing it myself, but I think the gameplay for Destiny 2 is looking really exciting, and I think the story is actually going to be delivered infinitely better. There's probably just not going to be a reason to play Destiny 1. That is my kind of conclusion, pre-impressions there, but now let's go kind of speculate on some of this gameplay, guys. So I'm watching the Terra Mantis video. I can't obviously steal that video for you guys and show you, but you're gonna have to go, you know, links in the description if you guys wanna watch that. But this looks amazing. Okay, so Halo always had very light elements of platforming, pretty light, okay? So it is a console FPS. They kind of have to make up for it. So they have vehicle sections, they had a very story-based structure, and they had very specific set pieces, very challenging elements, or rooms that you'd have to go in and kind of, it's almost like a puzzle. You have to solve how you're gonna kill all these enemies with the ammo and the weapons you're provided. It's pretty cool. But a lot of the times you could like jump around and sneak around, and stealth was absolutely an element. And in Destiny, like, a lot of the linearity and the level design was just kind of thrown away from what I've seen. It just seems like, well, I mean, the maps are cool, they look cool, and there is some platforming in Destiny 1, but in Destiny 2, it seems like it's actually come to fruition. And that makes a lot of sense. If you ever played Firefall, that's kind of what I'm talking about, where a lot of the times you could solve these different quests, these open world events in different ways by jumping around. In Destiny, you have so much mobility. In Destiny 2, if you watch the freaking, what is this, Strike Inverted Spire, if you watch that video, it reminds me a lot of Guild Wars 2, which has a lot of platforming elements. This looks awesome. I mean, you have jetpacks in Destiny, and it is an FPS. Some people don't like platformers, FPSs. I know some people, it makes them nauseated. Sometimes people just don't think it works at all because it's a first-person shooter. But from what I'm seeing, it looks really fun. Okay, you're jumping all around. There's these giant set pieces, like massive set pieces. So in Halo, you had smaller set pieces that you could jump around and kind of, you know, like the Scarab. You guys remember the Scarab level where you literally jump around a giant, like, walking mech? So fucking cool. This, you have even bigger things, or maybe even things of equal epicosity. You're probably going to be jumping around, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and that makes sense in an open, kind of these more open levels, these more open designs, and they're more multiplayer, so you need to move around much more to hit these weak spots, you know, and really show off the uniquities of these different classes, and that's a huge focus when it comes to mechanics, I think, for Destiny 2. I really want it to keep going in that direction, because at least for me, you know, starting out in the early Destiny, and also seeing a lot of gameplay, it seems like a lot of people just kind of sit, not still, but they're not moving around as much as I would want. Now, I know, again, it's a console shooter, so there needs to be kind of a somewhat of a limit on speed, but this is Destiny 2. Okay, we're not held back by previous gen consoles. Obviously, it's still going to be a console shooter at heart, but it's also coming to PC. I want a bigger, better, more aggressive, faster, and more wide open Destiny, and from what I'm seeing, that's kind of what it's going to be. So we see some different abilities that also seem very kind of big and flashy, and you know, the bow staff is very warframey. So if they can take some elements from some, you know, some weirder games that are kind of in a similar genre, such as Warframe, you know, sci-fi, shooter, action RPG, maybe even Firefall, it kind of seems like they are with some of these designs. It just seems like, you know, they're like, okay, we really know what Destiny is now, okay? We know exactly what this is and how to bring it to life, what people really want, and now we're just going to give you more of that, and at the same time wrapping it up in a more digestible, edible package. You know, something that's easier to consume and really get into and learn what it really is all about, which is kind of like platforming. It's about moving around, actually, like, you know, finding different hiding spots for these different abilities from these bosses, running around, you know, getting better angles on these weak spots, finding where the, you know, the mobs are going to spawn, how to dodge out of the way of these giant AoE attacks. Basically MMO stuff, right? MMO stuff is generally about not exactly platforming, but like moving around and the mobility and the movement around these giant bosses. That's what it is. You know, now that it's a first-person shooter, that it has aim, that's also even more important and even more part of the game feel. And then you have to make that three-dimensional, okay? Because it is also an FPS. So I think that's the direction that Destiny wants to go in. So you're gonna have probably, I'm thinking, more melee-esque stuff, more fast, more mobility. We're just gonna basically get more. You know, everything that probably existed in Destiny 1, we're probably gonna get maybe 2 of, okay? So if there's like some melee skills, we're probably gonna get double melee skills, different kinds of grenades, lots of new weird weapons, okay? I don't know if you remember Halo, but Halo was always good at making weird-ass weapons, okay? Halo didn't have ridiculous, I guess, kind of movement systems. It was very, you know, it was a console game, so it was very slow-paced. So to compete with other arena shooters, they had to make weird-ass weapons. So Bungie knows how to make some weird-ass weapons. And we've seen that in Destiny 1. And, you know, to an extent, there's also Borderlands that you can look at. So I think what Destiny 2 is gonna pull from all these different games and then at the same time, try not to make the same mistakes that those games made and, Bungie's Destiny 1 made, which is the really uncohesive gameplay and story combined for the linear intro experience. I want a more digestible experience that immediately gets me into what makes Destiny really, really special. That's going to be these strikes, these very big, epic missions that you go on and fight these big-ass bosses with waves of monsters and these levels that are specifically curated for you to move around, dodge around, hide around, and shoot from, and just do a lot of really cool shit cooperatively. Anyways, guys, so again, link to Terra Mantis's video in the description below. It's gonna show essentially like what I'm gushing over. Now, also, links are gonna be for the trailers. If you haven't seen them, you probably have though. I think the stories, it looks kind of cheesy and fun, but I think it's gonna be fun. I think that there is some heart in Destiny. I think they're gonna really try to reveal that heart, and not in the awkward card fucking. I don't like that. I don't like that. This isn't Dark Souls, guys. Destiny is not Dark Souls. So anyways, hopefully the story is gonna be delivered better. Hopefully the mechanics, or just like the actual good gameplay is more upfront for us. And I'm gonna be playing Destiny 2. I'm gonna pre-order it so we can play it with you guys. I'm also gonna be streaming Destiny and playing through that and doing a full review, I guess, kind of, if you want to see that too. So yeah, overall, I do like the concepts of Destiny, and Destiny 2 got me really excited. But I have to admit, Destiny 1 had a lot of faults that I can totally not blame people for not trying it, not wanting to play it, not doing it, because it just seems like a lot of work to get to the good stuff. And I think Destiny 2, it's not going to be so much work. It's just going to be probably just epicosity day one. That's what I want. Now, that's coming from a skeptic, guys. That's coming from a skeptic who is trudging through and really having a hard time playing Destiny 1. I think that Destiny 2 is going to be hype because I trust Bungie. Yes, I was a competitive player in Halo, so, a little bit of bias for the mechanics there. But, at base value, it's at least not going to be a bad game. And it can only be better, okay? And that's what I think is being promised here. And not just promised, but literally shown off in the gameplay videos, in the trailers, and so that's my pre-impressions. My pre-impressions is, this is probably not fake news, guys. This is probably some good shit, and we should jump on. PC, console, or otherwise. Now, later on, we might talk about the PC version specifically, and I do have some complaints about how all the footage shown is on consoles, and the FOV is really small and everything, so, how are they going to transfer some mechanics that were unique to Destiny 1, such as, the aim assist, and those specific things that actually increase aim assist? How is that going to work? I don't know. That's a whole nother video that we got to talk about, maybe some speculation videos specifically on the PC version, but as a whole, I think Destiny 2 is going to be good. I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up for hype meter, okay? So is it hype or flight? I think it's probably hype. Anyways, guys, I just want to say thanks for watching. Much love, guys. I really do. Hope you have fun. My name's Skylent, and I'll see you in the next one.